The hum of the break room fridge was the only sound as I scrolled through Instagram, half watching the clock tick toward the end of my lunch hour. My fingers moved automatically. Cat videos, vacation reels, someone's wedding. Then I froze. Familiar face, then another, then all of them. There, in full color, was my entire family standing on a beach, sun-kissed, relaxed, arms around each other like a Christmas card. Matching Carter family reunion shirts, my parents, my sister and her husband, my brother and his new girlfriend, even my great-aunt who swore she hated flying. They were all there, except me, Lauren Carter. The caption read, "Family forever, much-needed getaway." I zoomed in, almost compulsively. Maybe I'd somehow missed it. Maybe I was cropped out. Maybe. I scanned the background. Reflections in sunglasses, windows, anything. A sleeve, a hand, a shadow. But no, I wasn't in the picture. Because I hadn't been on the trip, because I hadn't been invited. My chest tightened as I flicked through the next photo. Then the next. Dinner at a beachside restaurant, a boat tour, a late-night bonfire under fairy lights. In every shot, they looked relaxed, happy, like nothing was missing, like I wasn't missing. A slow chill crept over me. I opened our family group chat. The last message was mine, 2 weeks ago. I'd reminded Dad to refill his blood pressure medication. No one had replied. I'd assumed he was busy, or just being Dad. But now, that silence echoed differently. It wasn't forgetful, it was deliberate. I called him. He picked up on the second ring. "Hey, sweetheart." His voice was bright, carefree, like everything was normal. I didn't waste time. "Where are you?" A pause. "Just long enough." "We're on vacation," he said. Light, like it was obvious. "Just a little family thing. Your sister planned it. Nothing big." "With everyone?" I asked. "Everyone but me?" Another pause. "Well," he said, exhaling, "we figured you probably wouldn't be interested." My jaw locked. "You figured I wouldn't? You never even told me." "We didn't want to make you feel obligated," he said, suddenly sounding defensive. "You've been working so hard lately. You're always busy. We thought it might just be better this way." I couldn't even speak. Then came the line. "Honestly, you kind of bring the energy down." There it was. I felt something inside me go quiet. Not shattered, just still. Like my body had gone into self-preservation mode. My fingers curled. Around the edge of the table, knuckles pale. He kept talking, saying something about my sister's itinerary and the hotel points, but I wasn't listening anymore. I was staring at that picture. That perfect, happy image. My family. My blood. And you know where. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, the soft blue glow of my phone still lingering behind my eyes. That photo kept replaying in my head. Sunlight, sand, drinks, laughter. My sister's husband with his hand on my mother's shoulder. My brother giving a thumbs up. Dad wearing those awful sunglasses I bought him for Father's Day. Everyone looked so light, as if I had never existed. By morning, the stillness turned into something sharper. Not sadness, not even anger. Clarity. I opened my banking app, fingers cold against the screen. The first thing I saw was the recurring transfer, $2,500 scheduled to go out to my parents in 3 days. I stared at it like it belonged to someone else. I'd been sending them that money every month since I got my promotion 6 years ago. I told myself it was what good daughters did, that it was the least I could do to ease their retirement. My father's pension was small. Mom never worked full-time. I took it on willingly, because that's what family meant. That's what they said family meant. And it hadn't just been the monthly transfer. There was the year I paid off Dad's dental. Surgery when he cracked a molar and wouldn't go to the dentist because of the cost. There was the time my brother needed last-minute tuition help and my parents just didn't have it. The summer Mom's car broke down on the freeway, and I wired the money before she even asked. Not once did I hesitate. Not once did I ask. for anything in return. And still, I hadn't been worth a phone call. Still, I was too much. Still, I brought the energy down. I felt something snap, not in a loud, explosive way, but like a thread quietly breaking after being pulled too tight for too long. I canceled the transfer. Then I opened the emergency fund account I'd been contributing to for years. The balance? $198.41 gone. I withdrew it, closed the account, then I opened my contacts, blocked my father, then my mother, then my siblings. One by one, no ceremony, no goodbye, just silence. I made a cup of coffee and sat in the kitchen, still in my pajamas, the mug warming my hands but not quite reaching my chest. I thought I'd cry, or scream, or break something, but I didn't. I just sat there, replaying every time they said, "We couldn't have made it without you." Every, "We're so proud of how responsible you are." Every little guilt-wrapped compliment that really just meant, "You're useful." And now they'd taken the trip I'd unknowingly funded, without me. No seat at the table, no place in the photo. They hadn't forgotten me. They hadn't overlooked me. They had made a decision, and so had I. No more wiring rent money before I paid. My own. No more answering calls that started with, "Sweetie, do you have a minute?" No more being the invisible safety net. That morning, I didn't lose my family. I just finally saw them for who they really were. The silence didn't last long. By the next morning, my phone was vibrating so much it slid halfway off the nightstand. Missed calls, voicemails, Facebook messages, texts from numbers I didn't recognize. I opened the first one without thinking. "Aunt Lynn, your mother is in tears. What happened? She said you just stopped helping out. Are you okay?" Then another. "Cousin Rachel, you seriously cut off your parents after everything they did for you?" Then another. "You're unbelievably selfish. You're abandoning your family." They came one after another, like waves, relentless, loud, full of assumptions. But what struck me the most was what they didn't say. Not one of them asked, "What happened?" Not one of them said, "I heard they excluded you. Are you okay?" They didn't want answers. They wanted compliance. They wanted me back in the role I'd always played: quiet, giving, dependable. Then came the one that chilled me. No name, no context, just a number I didn't know. "You really think you can just walk away from us? After everything we've done for you? You're pathetic. Hope you enjoy being alone." I didn't need a signature. I knew that voice, that tone. It was my father. That's when it clicked. They weren't upset because they missed me. They were furious because I had finally become unusable. I scrolled through the chaos, trying to breathe, trying to stay rational, until my phone rang again. This time it was my boss. I nearly dropped the phone. "Hi," I answered, voice low, heart racing. "Hey," he said gently, "could you come into my office for a minute?" I walked down the hallway like I was heading into a courtroom. He closed the door behind me, sat, folded his hands. "This morning," he said carefully, "I received a call. From your mother." My breath caught in my throat. "She told me you were having a breakdown, that you've been acting erratically, making impulsive financial decisions, that you might need time off." I felt every drop of blood drain from my face. He studied me. "I told her your private affairs are none of my business, but I still needed to check in. Are you okay?" I nodded slowly. "I'm okay. I cut off financial support to my parents after years of carrying their weight. They're retaliating. That's all this is." He nodded back. "I believe you. But if they contact this office again, you let me know. Immediately." I walked out in a fog, each step landing like a drumbeat. My own mother had tried to sabotage my job. She didn't call me, didn't text me. She called my employer, the one thing she knew I couldn't afford to lose. Not because she was worried, not because she loved me, but because if she couldn't control me directly, she'd do it through fear and humiliation. That night, the messages got worse. Friends I hadn't spoken to in years were suddenly concerned. "Hey, your mom reached out, said you were isolating. Everything okay? Heard you're cutting people off. What's going on with your family? And then the dagger. They said they might have to sell furniture to survive. Is that what you want? It wasn't concern. It was weaponized sympathy, designed to make me feel cruel for choosing peace. But I didn't fold. Not this time. Because, for the first time in my life, I could finally see what this was, a campaign, not to bring me back, but to break me down. By day 3, the pressure felt like smoke inside my lungs. Every hour, a new message. Every app, a fresh notification. From friends, from extended family, even from people I barely remembered from college. My cousin Ashley messaged, "Your mom called us in tears, said you've gone cold. What's going on?" A coworker asked, "Is everything okay with your parents?" They said you were acting strange. And still, not one person asked if I was hurting. Not one asked why this had happened. Only judgment. Only whispers. Only blame. That's when I realized they weren't trying to talk to me. They were trying to shame me back into silence. So I stopped playing defense, I opened Facebook, I didn't post a quote, I didn't drop a vague, going through it status, I told the truth. I'm not having a breakdown, I haven't abandoned my family. I've simply stopped financially supporting my parents. For years, I paid their bills, covered their debts, helped everyone stay comfortable. I sent $2,500 a month without asking for anything in return. Recently, I found out they planned, and went on, a family vacation. They didn't forget to invite me. They chose not to. When I asked why, my father said, "You bring the energy down." Since then, they've contacted my friends, my coworkers, even my boss, telling them I'm unstable, because I finally said no. If you hear anything about me being off or going through something, now you know the truth. I'm not unstable. I'm just done being used. Then I hit post, and I waited. For a second, there was nothing. Then the comments started. At first, it was private DMs. Nancy, my cousin. "Wait, you were the one paying for everything? That's messed up." "Uncle Dennis, you've always been generous. Don't let anyone guilt you for finally saying enough." Then came the public ones. $2,500 a month? And they left you out of the trip? They used you like a paycheck. Now they're mad the account closed. Funny how you were stable enough to pay their bills, but suddenly unstable the second you stopped. They said it louder than I ever could. The carefully constructed image, the sweet, suffering parents abandoned by their cruel daughter, began to unravel in real time. And I imagined them, sitting in their living room, watching it all blow up. The calls, the comments, the stories they'd spun for years, finally collapsing under the weight of truth. They'd dragged my name through the dirt in secret, so I pulled back the curtain and let the light in, not to destroy them, but to finally protect myself. The knock wasn't gentle. It was hard, repetitive, urgent, like someone trying to break through not just a door, but a decision. I didn't move at first. I just stood there in my kitchen, coffee half cold in my hands, listening. 3 more. Knocks. Then a voice. "Samuel, please." I walked slowly to the door and looked through the peephole. My mother. She looked smaller than I remembered. Her cardigan hung loose on her frame. One hand clutched her phone like it might save her. The other was balled tight by her side. I hesitated, just for a second, then unlocked the door, but didn't step aside. She tried to walk in anyway. I raised an arm to stop her. "No," I said quietly. Her eyes filled instantly. "Please, just talk to me." I didn't answer. She stepped back half a foot. Tears streaked her face. "Mr. Ryan called," she said, like it was a death sentence. "He told us, you're not paying the rent anymore." "I told you I was done," I said. "Why is this a surprise?" She blinked, as if trying to rewrite the conversation in real time. "We need you." "No," I said. "You need my money." She flinched like I'd slapped her. "We raised you," she said, voice breaking. "We took care of you, And now that we're the ones who need help, you're turning your back on us? I laughed, not cruelly, just tired. You didn't need me when you booked plane tickets to Cancun. Your sister planned that. You didn't need me when you posted that photo with family forever in the caption. She opened her mouth to respond. Nothing came out. You didn't need me when Dad said I bring the energy down. Her lips trembled. We didn't mean... Yes, you did. I let the silence stretch. Then I said it. Slowly, clearly. You didn't see me as family. You saw me as a service. As long as the money showed up, you didn't care whether I did. And when I stopped being useful, you tried to tear me down. You called my friends. You called my boss. You tried to make me look unstable. Her tears had stopped. Now she looked stunned. Like she didn't recognize me, and maybe she didn't. Maybe for the first time, she was meeting the version of her child who no longer begged to be loved. I just needed, she started. No, I interrupted. You needed access, and now that it's gone, you're here not for me, but for what I used to give. She straightened. Her voice lost the tremble. If this is who you've become, don't expect forgiveness. I nodded slowly. Forgiveness for what? Protecting myself? She glared. Your father will never speak to you again. I leaned against the doorframe, calm. Good, I said. Then I won't have to hear him lie to my face. Her face crumpled. And for a second, I saw a flash of the woman who used to tuck me in, who used to call me her sunshine. But it passed. She turned and walked away. I closed the door, locked it, stood in the quiet, and for the first time since this all began, I didn't shake. The silence was strange at first. No text messages asking for a quick favor. No late-night voicemails that began with, hey honey, don't be mad, but no cousin calling to say, your mom said you might be free to help. For the first time in years, my paycheck sat untouched for longer than a week. No surprise bills, no bounce checks, no emergencies that only I could fix. I started sleeping through the night. Deep, dreamless sleep. The kind I hadn't had since my 20s. I woke up and there was no guilt waiting for me. No mental to-do list titled, How to Keep Everyone Else Alive. Just stillness. Freedom, I realized, doesn't come with fireworks. It comes with quiet. It's standing in your kitchen without flinching at the sound of your phone. It's walking through a grocery store and buying what you want, not what you think someone might ask for. It's breathing, deeply, without apology. A week later, I booked a trip. No group itinerary, no shared room, just me. A round-trip ticket. To a beach I'd never been to, a solo reservation at a hotel that didn't require approval or justification. I didn't ask for anyone's blessing. I packed light. A book, a dress I hadn't worn in years, sunscreen, sandals. That was it. On the second morning, I stood barefoot on a balcony overlooking the ocean. The air smelled like salt and oranges. A breeze lifted my hair. Below me, a family was taking a group photo, matching t-shirts, laughter. I didn't flinch, I didn't ache, I just smiled. Not because someone needed me to, but because I wanted to. And for the first time, I believed it. I hadn't lost my family. I had lost the people who never truly saw me. There's a difference. I thought choosing myself would feel like betrayal. But it didn't. It felt like a door finally closing. One I'd held open for far too long, hoping someone, anyone, would notice how cold it was inside. They never did. And now? Now I know that love without respect is just dependence. That silence isn't loneliness, it's protection. That family isn't defined by blood, but by how safe you feel when you speak your truth. I don't check my phone every 5 minutes anymore. I don't brace for the next emotional landmine. I drink my coffee slowly. I walk without rushing. I laugh without shrinking, and I've stopped apologizing for surviving. To anyone out there, anyone who's been told they're too cold, too distant, too difficult, just for drawing a line, let me say this. You are not ungrateful. You are not cruel, you are simply done, and done is a sacred place. That's where peace lives. That's where you get your life back. That's where I finally found mine.